My hat! Traxxas offers a variety of two-wheel drive slash vehicles, and to be honest, the slash vehicle is a really fun vehicle. It's really good. I'm not here to compare with other brands. I'm just talking Traxxas. Slash two-wheel drive is a vehicle that I've probably bought too many of. No, I'm kidding. I've bought quite a few. It's definitely the RC I've gifted the most as well. But it's a vehicle that I do appreciate, and these are the current models as of this video. And I just want to talk about which one is the best two-wheel drive slash. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say which one. It's the Mud Boss. So the Mud Boss is definitely the best one. But I'm going to go into some details as to why in a bit. Depending on the slash that you buy, usually the electronics will vary. This is one example of a slash. So this is a slash brushless. If you haven't seen my videos where I actually take apart this motor, count the windings, take measurements, do recommend that you watch it. I also do some tests on the motor. It's a nice motor. But if you look at these, you have the same typical Traxxas arms, just the old style arms with the regular shocks. These are small body, the shafts are thinner, so you're going to blow off a cap, then you have to replace them with aluminum, and then you're going to bend a shaft, so you're going to have to replace the shaft or just replace the entire thing with GTR shocks, which are way better. GTR shocks are really good. But then the caster blocks, those are very weak, so those will bend, and then the kingpin that goes through it will bend, and then you will have to replace it because of the flex in the caster block. So a caster block would sit right in there. Now, regular slashes, usually if you've had some of the old models, here it doesn't show, but you would notice that the rear hub carrier will always break, so you need to upgrade those on your common slashes. Well, all right, nothing too special. And then high center of gravity chassis. Now a number 2 would actually be the Ford Raptor. This is the brushless version. This would be my number 2 pick. Mud Boss is the first. Now, why is this the number 2? Yeah, the body is awesome, but it's because of this winter plastics. So these arms and these hubs, they are far stronger than your regular Traxxas arms and Traxxas hubs. These are, actually it's more than double the material. If you were to look at a regular slash, like old school, original design, this is going to be quite thin, then the arm sort of goes up to here. So the thickness is probably this thickness, if not less, and they usually break right there. Here, these are much stronger, and the arms are much stronger as well. You can't really see this other section, but the arm sort of goes in here, so there's a split. Nope, I was hoping I could get a better picture. But the shocks, again, these are, they're oil filled, not a big deal. Most of them are nowadays. It's not like you're going to a big box store and buying your regular just spring-loaded, nothing in there. But like I said, these shocks here, plastic on plastic, cap, once this blows off and squirts oil everywhere, it will no longer seal. So you have to replace those with the aluminum option. They're not that expensive, maybe $15 US as of this video for all 4. But then once you do that, the shaft will break because the shaft sometimes is not strong enough for the pressure. I mean, I guess you could always put a little less oil or lighter oil on there, but then it doesn't, depends on what you want to do with them. It rolls over a lot when you go with the lighter oil, but you do save the shafts. But anyway, special features, not really. This is still high CG. This is about the best thing. So it's the winter plastics and this motor. Now, keep in mind, I'm talking about my top choices. I'm not bringing price point into the equation, but let's look at the Mud Boss. Now, this one is nice. This is a very nice vehicle. You get the same motor as the Ford Raptor, so you get the BL-2s, which is a nice motor. It's a nice RTR motor. But this is the beautiful part. Again, you're getting the winter plastics. If you're familiar with the hub, so here it is. This is, I don't know why I called it the hub, the caster block. The regular caster block is a thinner plastic, and it's a very flexible plastic. It's not this fiber reinforced plastic. If you look at the knuckle as well, look at this reinforcement. The regular ones do not have this reinforcement here. So on old slashes, I've sheared this off. Actually, I've sheared this off after replacing the caster block with the aluminum options. And the reason why is the other ones, the regular ones, these are so thin on impact, it flexes, and then the kingpin that goes through there will no longer have the top support. So what happens is it bends, and then sometimes it takes the knuckle out as well. So this hub carrier takes the hub out. Because of this and the kingpin, you have to replace everything. And then once you replace this with the aluminum, then you start shearing these. And that's what happens. But here you get winter plastics for the arms. These are very durable, especially compared to the stock. And you get this entire assembly, and it's front and rear. And that's the important thing. You also get the rear ones, and here we go. So this is the picture of the rear. Notice the cutout right here. I think I was pointing in the wrong section on the previous, a few minutes ago. But you get the winter plastics in the rear. You also get the reinforced shafts in the rear. If you're familiar with the regular two-wheel drives, the shafts are thinner plastic back here as well. But usually the problem is these will shear. So you have your little U-joint in there, and then it'll shear off, and then you pop it back in, and then it'll do it again. So eventually you just have to replace it. But these are much stronger. These are some of the ones that I was using for upgrades for some of the slashes that I was working on or building. But it's not just the winter plastics. You're also getting an LCG chassis. And LCG chassis on this two-wheel drive slash is the way to go. I mean, this is night and day on how it handles and performs. And it's not just that. You get the GTR shocks. And the GTR shocks, I believe they're 13 millimeters. I could be wrong. Diameter here on the top. The oil capacity is not quite double. It's probably 70%. Traxxas probably advertises it somewhere in here, but I believe it's 70% more oil capacity for the GTR shocks. So the dampening, here we go, 70%. You can definitely tune the suspension a lot more depending on the shock fluids that you use. So just for those reasons, keep in mind, if you were to buy a regular slash and then upgrade, the GTR shocks with springs, and the springs, here in the picture, they go with the blues. The blues are very, very nice springs. One step down would be the black springs, I believe, which are also very nice, but the blues are generally what I prefer anyway. So if it comes with the blues, that's the way to go. But if you look at a regular slash, $240 for this, and then you upgrade to the GTR shocks, which you probably will at some point, that's another $100 just in shocks. So that puts you at $340. $340 compared to this, that's only a $40 difference. But it's not just that. If you go into the regular slash has the regular transmission, or at least they had the regular transmission. Let me just see if there's a picture showing it. Usually if it has the Magnum transmission, they're very quick. Here we go. So it's the regular brushed ready planetary gear diff. So they use just the regular 272 transmission. Whereas the Mud Boss uses the Magnum transmission, which is the 272R. And if you have not watched my videos comparing this transmission, the 272R to the 272 to the Pro line, where I take them apart, I recommend you watch that video too. But this transmission is reinforced. It's a stronger case, much stronger case. Fluid-filled diff, and it's sealed as well. You don't get that with the other one. So once you think about the upgrades, forget about the electronics. Right? Nobody cares about the electronics at this point. Just by doing the shocks and the transmission, this is already a better deal. And you're not including the LCG chassis, and you're not including the winter plastics. Especially these knuckles, front and rear, the hub carriers or the caster blocks, you will end up replacing them because you will end up breaking them, and you'd be surprised how easily they break. Sometimes you'd be surprised how they don't break, I'll be honest. That's happened. But those are some of the things to keep in mind. So, to sum it up, the best slash that is currently available per Traxxas website in two-wheel drive, again, two-wheel drive, is definitely the Mud Boss. Mud Boss is the way to go. Why? Because you're getting the GTR shocks, which are thicker shafts, bigger bodies, more tunability. You're getting the 272R Magnum transmission, which is the best transmission you can get. It has a kick-up built in, better traction off the line. You get the winter plastics, and you get a nice brushless system with LCG. I mean, out of the box, you'd be surprised how much better something like this handles compared to your regular high CG chassis. So, which is the best two-wheel drive slash that Traxxas currently offers? Mud Boss. Close second, well, it's not even that close, I would say, is the Raptor. The reason why I say it's not really that close is it does have the winter plastics, but you have the high CG and you have the GTR shocks. And an RC like this, the only reason why you would want a high CG is if you were running on grass. That way the belly doesn't rub on the grass and slow you down or bog you down. That's the only downside about the LCG. Running on grass is a no-go. But if you run on any other surface, clay, dirt, asphalt, LCG is the way to go. So definitely, again, Mud Boss, that would be my pick. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope this was informative, or at least entertaining. Please subscribe if you have not, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Oh, my hair! My car! My rod!